Yo, what's good with y'all, man? Welcome back to another video. I got my glasses on. I'm about to break down an organic R&B texture sample that sounds like this. Y'all about to have to let me know, like, y'all like the glasses? Like, what are we saying? What are we saying about the glasses? Do I look studious? Come on. All right, so jumping right into the DAW, we got 154 BPM, and I actually made this sample all the way back in January, so pretty much like 3 months ago at this point. This is the first sample I made to really pull me out of a very bad beat block. And this sample itself inspired me creatively, pulled me out of that beat block. So I really want to break down the sample. I would say this one is very unique, a little experimental, but it utilizes a lot of really like crazy sample techniques that you guys could definitely use in all types of your productions. So yeah, let's hop right into the DAW. First thing we're starting off with is this one shot, and it's from a Johnny Wood kit. It's from the Biotic Materials, and it's like a super crazy one shot. And I'm just playing these chords that sound like this. Super crazy. Honestly, I didn't even strum the chords. I didn't even like play with the velocities. Just clicked them in and just left them like that. And for the chords, it's super simple. And I'm actually starting this off with a G sharp diminished chord. And then it's going into this A major chord right here. And then I'm just stacking some notes on top like this. And yeah, we're just utilizing these half steps here. And basically all that's going on with this like bass note, I just took the E, pitch it down an octave. These are the root notes. It's the G sharp and the A. And I started with the diminished chord. I don't know why, but it sounds super fire low key. And then the second half here, I'm just pitching up these like middle notes up an octave just to add a little bit of variation in there. And then the next thing I'm adding is just this bass. It's from the Moto bass, and it is just this preset right here, Thunder bass. And we're just playing those root notes, super simple. Yeah, super simple so far. So utilizing those half steps, really using chords and sounds that are kind of unique. I don't think I ever started with a diminished chord before. Next thing I'm adding is this Concord one shot, and this is coming from the Thermocolor one shot kit by Cryptic. And this is just playing the exact chords. So these are the exact chords, and then I'm just strumming them out, trying to make like a little bit of a bounce with them. But really, at the end of the day, I kind of flipped the whole thing anyways, but this is what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like, and as you guys can tell, it's really just a halftime on these settings right here, and I rendered that out, and I really liked how the halftime added a little bit of texture in there, and then it finally played that like last chord. I rendered that out, like I said, and then I boost the volume of some of those like textured notes that it played, and then finally it plays that last note, and I think it sounds super cool with these initial chords. This is what it sounds like. Next up, we're going back into that same one-shot kit by Cryptic, and I'm just grabbing this one shot here, and it's just playing a little bit of a rhythm just so we can get some bounce, playing this G sharp over and over again. And with those three elements, this is what it sounds like. And for the effects, it's just a little bit of long reverb, and it has this echo boy on, and it's just delaying it very slightly. That's kind of like the foundation of the sample, but it definitely needed a lot more movement and some more textures in here. So what I did, played another instance of those chords out on this Pantheon one shot, and it's from that Cryptic kit. And I'll have all the kits that I use in this video linked below if I can find them, just so you guys can get some of their sounds. So I played out the same exact chords, but this time they're strummed, and I grabbed this key. And something I love to do to add texture, and it's a unique way to add texture, is actually automating delay. So I'm gonna show you guys how I did that. So like I said, I rendered out that melody, and I added to a mix track, added EQ, cut out a lot of those lows and some highs. And then I added this delay tape, and this is my favorite delay to add some crazy textures into your samples. I grabbed the distorted ping pong preset, and these are just the settings right here. You can copy these down. And just the delay by itself already adds a little bit of texture in there. However, I really want to add those like weird artifacts, those weird textures that kind of are going to grab the attention of the listener. You're not necessarily going to hear them too much, but you're really going to feel these. And then basically the way I did this was automate the left and right channel right here. So I have them synced up. And the way to do this in FL, if you just like touch it and then go to tools and then last tweaked, and you can hit create automation. And I created this weird automation here. I think I randomly just clicked stuff, didn't really have a rhyme or reason for what I did. I just clicked around until I found something that really fit the sample, and then I rendered it out just so we can like freeze it all in place. And this is what the texture sound like, and I chopped a little bit of stuff too. And this is what the texture sounds like, and it sounds super fire. And it sounds so good with those elements we added. Now at this point, I wanted to fill out the body of the sample, just adding like 1 or 2 more sounds, like the body, like the middle frequencies of the sample. I added this one shot called Steamroller, and then all I'm doing is playing the G sharp, and then I'm sliding the note across the entire octave, across these 4 bars right here. And I know you're probably thinking like, you're really sliding the whole thing, but it sounds super fire. And like I said, like this sample was all about experimenting, because I was in a major beat block for a long time, just experimenting, doing stuff that I normally wouldn't do. And then I rendered that out and I pitched the first half up an octave, and this is what it sounds like. And what really helps too is grabbing like a really nice one shot. Like this one has a lot of texture built into the one shot. So it definitely helps when you're sliding the notes, because it's sliding all those like cool textures. I hope that makes sense. I don't really know. I'm just kind of rambling, because that's kind of how I felt when I made the sample. I was just doing random stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to break down, but I think there's a lot of really cool techniques in here for sure. And then you already know we got to add the texture in here. Pretty decent amount of texture just from the things that we've already done, but I wanted to add like that therme, gliding, like pitch shifting delay type of texture. And how I made these therme textures is I just played this like super simple pattern with this one shot here. And I just recorded myself playing around with the therme and doing a lot of different stuff with the therme, playing with all the knobs, playing with all the switches and everything on there. And I recorded for probably like low key, like 5-6 minutes. I can't find the actual recording. I don't know why. But yeah, probably like 5-6 minutes of just recording like textures. You don't need guitar pedals to do this. So I'm going to show you like real quick. I have videos and I'll pop them up like somewhere where I go over like how to make texture, but I can do it really quick here too. But you can check that video after I go over like literally everything that has to do with making textures. So yeah, like I said, you don't need guitar pedals. All you need is like a plugin that is going to create some cool sounds. So I like Autochroma, Lotus, Illusions, like stuff like that. But you really want that therme sound, you're gonna want to get Lotus or Illusions. And all you got to do to get this like therme texture guitar pedal kind of sound, you want to hit record on the master and you want to play it out while you're like changing the knobs. So you're going to record everything in there, and you're going to record those really cool moments and those happy accidents that you wouldn't really get if you're just not recording everything, you know what I mean? So definitely record like everything you're going to do, and using Lotus or Illusions is like super good for getting those therme textures. So I grabbed a whole bunch of textures in here. As you can see, you got a whole bunch of stuff. And a lot of these are like pretty unique sounding stuff, and you can't really replicate it. Just hitting record and recording everything in was like super crucial for this. And I just spliced all these textures together and I affected some of them, but this is what it sounds like. Pretty much first section is done. All I added was a percussion loop. And I actually didn't add the percussion loop. I created the whole percussion loop from scratch. And basically how I made this was, I'm pretty positive I actually grabbed my water bottle and just like was tapping the bottom of the water bottle. And I think also I was using pencils or something to like tap together, use some other stuff. I'm not sure. So you can like create these percussion loops out of anything. And for the effects, it's really simple. Some of these are more tonal percussions. So I went to Chroma and added this on the F sharp right here, just so we get those tones. And then everything else, like super simple. There's not really any effects, but on the actual percussion like bus. I routed everything to a bus, added the short reverb, added the chroma on again, just turned the color down a little bit. And then I went to decimort and just kind of played with the frequencies, and always click this button here so you don't bit crush it, unless you want that bit crush sound, which does sound cool sometimes. I think this sample really helped me create like new techniques to use. And I think that this being the first sample of 2025, I could definitely tell out of the samples I made so far, utilize a lot of tricks that I use in this. I'm making dark samples like this. I'm making more experimental samples using these techniques. And like I said, all I did was add some vocals in, and I recorded these in myself. My vocal process, really, I'm not gonna go over it too crazy. Basically what I'm gonna do is slow the BPM down, probably about 20, 25 BPMs. And then I'm gonna record the vocals in, and then I'm gonna hit stretch on them and then put the BPM back up. This is just to add that like very speed kind of like fast sound. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, and then my vocal process chain is just an auto tune. I already know I can't sing for anything. Got an EQ, alter boy on these settings right here. This is crucial. A compressor. Flangus is also a pretty crucial plugin. A reverb, chorus, another EQ, and then really some major sauce here is the decimort. Again, utilizing the same thing I did with the percussion loop, just to kind of filter it out a little bit. And then I added this echo boy on these exact settings. You gotta use these settings. These are the best settings for vocals. Copy these down. And I automated this echo here on the second half. And yeah, it sounds super fire. And this is what the vocals sound like. Yeah, it sounds super tough, especially in context of the sample. And after all that, this is what the final sample sounds like. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the sample. I want you guys to let me know what y'all think for this one. This is a little bit different, but like I said, you can apply these techniques to a ton of different like production ideas and stuff like that. And I think this one turned out fire. And let me know what y'all think of the glasses. Like maybe I make better beats and samples with the glasses on. Before you click off here, definitely go check out my Instagram, @Eville. Got a brand new sound kit coming out at sometime in April. Super crazy, my best sound kit yet, and it's a collab kit with Bensi. Y'all are not gonna wanna miss that. And honestly, if y'all watching this right now, go hit me up on Instagram, shoot me a DM, say that you came from the video, and I might send a couple of y'all a brand new sound kit. Like not the full version, just like a little demo version of what we got so far. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one.